Power, power, power. Yo, these dudes took a week off and came back with a season finale type episode. I'm still hyped from watching this episode. I just finished it a few minutes ago. We suffered a major loss, a major character death, which we'll get into. Anyway, what's going on, people? It's Emmanuel for Altenor Media. We're going to continue this power review recap that we do every week. We missed it last week because obviously we didn't have an episode, but this week was crazy. So anyway, let's get into episode 8 of Power, which is titled A Part of the Family. Something like that. Well, I'll get the correct name of the episode in the description. So anyway, please make sure to subscribe to the channel right now and ring that bell for notifications, and make sure to comment your thoughts on the episode. Let me know what you thought about the episode, and let me know if I missed anything, because you know everything is moving pretty fast. So anyway, let's get right into the episode as usual. Let me put my glasses on. Got my notepad, notes. Anyway, this episode opened with Ghost, Tasha, and Angela. So Ghost, you know, he's trying to turn himself in for the murder of RayRay. And Angela's like, hold up. If you turn yourself in, then eventually it's going to lead back to her and Tasha and even Tariq. Because Ghost can't even keep his story straight when she's questioning him about it. So, and Angela, she's not trying to go down for it. So they decide that they should just frame somebody for it, because either of them turning themselves in, everybody's gonna go down. So Ghost's idea is to turn Drake in, to turn Dre in. I keep calling him Drake, of course. But when he leaves, Tasha's like, no, not Dre. She wants to turn Kanan in and frame him for the murder of RayRay. So now we're in the Fed office, and the Feds find out that Silva just skipped town. He hopped in his U-Haul and he was out. So now they're really saying that Tasha's story is not adding up because Silva is gone. So now we're questioning, did Silva just skip out on Tasha, or did he leave just so he didn't have to lie under oath, but he could still not, you know, snitch on Tasha and Tariq? So maybe he did it to help himself and Tasha, because if he's not around, he can't testify. And him not being around for that time, you know, they eventually, and later in the episode, they're able to clear themselves and all that. So maybe Terry was doing a good thing. You know, he's not trying to risk his career, but he's not trying to, you know, expose Tasha and Tariq. So I'm pretty sure if he comes back, we'll see more of that. So anyway, and we find out that Keisha is also getting a subpoena. So they calling out everybody, and this makes the situation even more dicey, because, you know, Keisha, this is not really her lifestyle. She's just been kind of dragged into it out of nowhere, and they know they can't really trust her to really keep it together. So her getting a subpoena, you know, that's a very risky thing. And then we also find out that there was no footage of Ghost actually killing the Charlie Murphy CEO dude. So whatever information that Teresi gave them is just hearsay, you know. They can't prove anything. So Ghost is in the clear on that. And now Teresi still got more information to get them, because they're back at square one. But now Mox and Sax, they're trying to bully Proctor later on in the episode, you know, trying to fool him into giving them information. They're saying that there's a witness and all that, but how credible is Teresi, and they have no footage. So James is in the clear on that for the moment. And we see Dre still want Ghost Dad. He told his homies that whenever they get the shot, to take it. And we see Tommy is chilling with Kanan. And of course, Kanan again is filling Tommy's head up on Ghost, telling him that Ghost is making moves without him. Ghost set up the killing of Diego without him and all that, and he's trying to say that Ghost is just taking people out one by one, and that Kanan or Tommy could be next, which is crazy. And then he sets that all up, and Ghost just walks in, and then Kanan he drives that point home and John. So now Tommy has his own plan, but now Ghost wants to switch it up, and then he says it's because he wants to frame. Tommy wants to kill Dre now, but Ghost wants to frame him for RayRay's murder to protect Tariq. And it's cool, Tommy is still loyal to the family, because as soon as Ghost mentioned to him that he wants to, put off killing Dre so he could frame him, that he wants to do it for Tariq, Tommy was like, you could tell his expression changed, and he was down with it like 100. So, of course, Tommy is just loyal. He's always going to be loyal. Well, so far. So, and another funny thing was how Kanan said he was going to give the head to Tommy, but he already gave it to Jason. He already set everything up, so it was crazy. Of course, Mox trying to break Sax. He's telling Mox trying to break Proctor. Telling him that they got all this information and John, and Proctor is gonna take that to James later on in the episode. So everybody's like just doing little side deals. Everybody is looking out for themselves now. Everybody is worried about everybody now. Now we got Kanan showing Tariq the game now. They're standing there with the product. Kanan is telling him, what you got to do with this. And then Tariq is like, all right, give me the product. I'm going to go sell it right now. And Kanan is like, well, hold up. Where you going to store it? Where you going to store your money at? Because, you can't put the money and the product in the same place. There's a lot of things that go with it. And then Tariq is like, when he's calculating how much he's going to make, he's like, damn, this is like $15K. This is like, my tuition and like increments and junk. And Kanan is like, whoa, hold up. You got to bring me back $11K out of that. You could probably keep 4,000. So Kanan is teaching him the game, and he's like, you got to earn that. And did y'all see Quinn? She was looking, the scene where Cristobal and Dre was going to, they're doing their whole club thing. Quinn was looking like a snack. I think that's what her name is, Quinn. She was fine in that scene. And then we see this dude Kanan actually brought Tariq to the Italians. Kanan is a funny dude. And then when Kanan tells them that Ghost is the one who set up the hit on them, Tariq just shakes his head like, I don't know if he's like this nigga or whatever, but he's like, shakes his head. So, and then you see Tariq hit them with some Italian in that scene. This scene just showed Tariq, he was calm, he was cool, he just sat back, and then he was just confident enough to speak out and hit them with that Italian that even, that kind of put the whole situation at ease, and that even made Kanan look good himself. But Reek is just like, he's just a killer. Mentally, he's just all in there. Ain't nothing phasing this kid. What else we got? So Ghost and Tommy are watching Dre. They're ready to, move on him. It's kind of hot under these lights. They're trying to move on him and all that. So they're watching him and Cristobal. And it's interesting that Tommy is just focused on killing Dre. And Ghost is more cerebral. He's wondering why Dre is even bringing Cristobal into the club game. So he wants to know the intricacies of it. But Tommy is not even thinking about that. So you can just see the difference between how Ghost moves and how Tommy moves, and that's why they're really, fit for each other, because they think differently. Ghost is just thinking more in more detail, and Tommy is just like, we just got to kill this motherfucker. Then we get the scene where Tariq, he walks in, because Tasha called him to come home. So he walks in, and we got Angela and Tasha in there. He walks in, he sees Angela. He's like, what the hell is she doing here? I don't trust her. But Tasha tells him, we need her. I trust her for now. So you got to tell me everything you know about Raymond Jones and that whole situation. And he finds out that they trying to pin everything on Kanan. And Tariq is like, no, he's not down with that at all. And Tasha's like, I'm your mother, It's either going to be me or Kanan. And Tariq is like, find another way. And Tasha is just like shocked. Her own son is like, you just got to find another way. And another thing about that scene is the way Tariq spoke about Angela. He's like, you working with her, the woman who broke up our entire family, ruined our lives. And then Angela's just sitting there like, dang. But he right though. So Tariq feel the same way about Angela that how Tommy feel about her. Like, he can't stand her. So yeah, now Tasha is in a tough spot at this point because Tariq is not down with setting Kanan up. So what's she gonna do? And even Ghost doesn't want to frame Kanan. He wants Dre. You could tell that Ghost still he has a sore spot for Kanan. He really cares about Kanan. He probably doesn't regret setting him up years ago, but it still hurts him. He cares about Kanan. That's his OG no matter what. So of course we find out that Keisha does get served, and so she's like a little hysterical with Tommy, but Tommy is trying to convince her. He says that Tasha is smart, so just do whatever she says so we can get out of it. But Keisha's like, this is my life. I could go to jail for this, for lying. But yeah, Tommy's like, you just got to do it to protect all of us. Just do exactly what Tasha tells you to do. So again, this points to the fact that Keisha, this is not her life. This ain't really her lifestyle. So it's tough for her. So, but she got to do it. And it's crazy how they pretty much just dragged her into this whole shit. But what's she gonna do? She gotta just do it. You want Tommy, don't you? You want Tommy. That comes with the lifestyle. That comes with being with a big drug pusher. And it's crazy how Tariq, when Ghost was talking to him. Ghost was saying, he doesn't want to frame Kanan. But and then Tariq said, so how are you gonna get out of this? He said, I'm gonna turn myself in. And Tariq wasn't really buying that, and he said, yeah, I'm gonna turn myself in. And then Tariq ain't even give a damn. He was like, you could tell he was a little happy about that. This little nigga Tariq. We got another Ghost in Tate scene. Tate is my dude. But he wasn't smiling this episode either. Tate ain't been smiling for the past, at least since last episode when Ghost really handed his ass to him. So Ghost tells Tate that he needs to back away from Dre, because Ghost is already planning to set Dre up for the murder of RayRay. So, Tate being associated with Dre, that would really hurt his campaign, because he's running for governor. You can't be affiliated with, a cop murderer at that. So, Ghost gives him that warning. And Ghost, of course, if Tate is governor, Ghost is always going to want that contact. He's always going to want that connect. So he's not trying to, fuck Tate shit up, because that's a great contact to have. So he's trying to make sure he's in good with Tate. So he does Tate this solid right here. And, looks like Tate is starting to warm up to him at the end of the scene. Ghost is like, stick with me. I'll take you to the top with me. But now, Ghost and Proctor. This was an interesting scene, because usually Ghost would tell Proctor almost everything, but in this scene you could tell Ghost was a little wary about him. So Ghost probably has a little, he probably, maybe he knows that something is up, or maybe this particular stuff that they're working on, he just wanted to, keep it just to themselves, that the frame job and all that. So Proctor talked to him about the CL. You could tell that James, something lit off inside of him when he mentioned it, because he looked up a little, he was writing and he looked up a little bit, and you could tell he's like, damn, how the fuck he know about this and all that. So anyway, and then he mentions that there's a witness and all that, but Ghost is not really paying attention to it. And then he sees Proctor is asking for a little more information, but Ghost is not even trying to give it to him. You could probably, maybe he knows that Proctor is trying to save himself, or maybe even, but Proctor, he wants that information on Angela too. But Ghost seems like he's at least a little onto him. He's a little wary. He's not telling him everything, because before, Proctor was, really knowing everything that's going down. But you can see that there was a change in this scene. You want that info on Angela. So then we go to Keisha and Tasha. Tasha goes over to Keisha's spot, and they have a little talk. Tasha is trying to convince, Keisha to lie. She was just subpoenas. Keisha got to lie and, corroborate all of their alibis for them to avoid jail time and to frame Kanan, that she wants to frame Kanan. But, Keisha is like, this is not me. I could go to jail for it. I could go to jail for this. It's one thing to lie to the police, but you lying in court under oath, that's a whole nother thing. Keisha is saying, to ask a friend to do some crazy stuff like that. And then she mentioned that Tasha was running drugs through her shop too. So Tasha has just been on some other shit, asking Keisha to do, just unreasonable, impossible jump. And she's right about that. It's a little different, like, giving your friend clothes and all that, or giving them a little bit of money is a little different than another friend asking you to lie under oath, commit perjury, running drugs through your junk, getting you involved in that lifestyle and all that. So Tasha is asking too much of Keisha, kind of like she did with Silver. That's why his ass dipped off. And so Keisha had a point with that. But again, if Keisha want to be with Tommy, this the type of shit you gotta do. If you want to be with Tommy, that's the game. You better get used to lying and all that. Because that's what it is. And when Keisha and Tommy had dinner with Teresi and Connie, she kind of put her on to that. The life is a difficult life. When they put you in a box, are you going to break? And all that. So Keisha, if you're not trying to, lie under oath and all that, then Tommy is not the one for you, because you're going to have to do it eventually. Tasha is doing it constantly. And it's crazy how Tasha was kind of guilting her into doing it. And Keisha was like, how many times you been over here and you ain't even seen Cash, who's Keisha's son? And Tasha's like, yeah, you're right. I ain't been a great friend to you, and all that. But Keisha gotta corroborate the story. It is what it is. But Tasha tried to make her feel guilty and saying, you're gonna let me go to jail. You're gonna let Tommy go to jail. So, once she mentions Tommy, Keisha is just so puppy loved over Tommy that, she just agrees to it. So Tasha kind of knows how to play those mind games too. So she got what she wanted. Alright, so Tariq and Kanan are out. Kanan is showing him the old block where him, Ghost, and Tommy used to sell rocks and all that. And he hands Tariq some bags to sell. He told her, don't come back until you sell them. So boom, Tariq comes back, I guess, a little too quick. And Kanan was like, what you doing back? You ain't selling them that quick. Tariq is like, he sold them. He sold them to all of them to a couple kids. Kanan looks at the money, sees that there's a fake 20 in there. So they dip off. And Tariq spots the kids, and Tariq is like, pull around. They pull around. Tariq get the strap, and he pulled the strap on these dudes. My dude, he pulled the strap on him and got everything back. And Kanan was just so proud in that moment, man. He was so proud. So at that point, because Tasha had reminded or told Tariq that Kanan killed his own son, Sean. Can you trust him? So Tariq brings that up to him again. He's like, how can you kill someone you love? And Kanan's like, some say you ain't a real killer until you kill somebody you love. And he explains to Tariq that Sean was different from them two. Sean was soft and he was disloyal, which is very important. It's an important part to the last scene. So he killed Sean because Sean was disloyal and he wasn't like him. Then he tells Tariq, you more my son than he ever was. And then he tells Tariq that he would never do something like that to Tariq. So we see like a real fatherly side to Kanan at that point, where he assures Tariq that, like, he basically tells him he loves him, but in like the killer way. He tells Tariq, I love you, and just the way a killer would tell somebody they love him. And he lets him know that, I would never do something like that to you, because you were my son than he was. That's going to be important for the scenes, ahead. Then we get to Dre and Ghost. This took me back to the first episode of season 5, the graveyard scene when Dre walked up with the hoodie up on Ghost. So Dre walks in to Truth again, and Dre really he really bossed up again. And they get to talking, and Dre and Ghost is like, you've really taken off since you chose me as your mentor over Kanan. And he was like, yeah, well, this mentee, got some money to go make. And he tells Ghost that since Ghost killed Diego for him, like a little runner, that Alicia needs Dre even more now. So he's just in a bigger, he's doing even bigger things now. And it's all because he got Ghost to do his bidding. So Dre is like really feeling himself, and he's really puffing his chest at Ghost, and you could just tell what Ghost reaction. Ghost just wanted to strangle him in that moment. The one thing with Omari Hardwick, just like he does like minor things with his face that really, you don't even need lines. He doesn't even need to speak. Just the little things that he does with his facial expression just tells the entire story that he wanted to strangle Dre in that moment. The same way he wanted to strangle Tate when he introduced Dre as the face of the Queen's Child Project. What else we got? Oh, so now we have Proctor, talking to his cousin, his gangster cousin, about Tommy and Ghost. And Proctor still has that laptop that has the, Tommy's recording on it. So he still has that insurance policy. And now we really see that Proctor is in business for himself now. He's trying to protect himself because he don't really trust Tommy and Ghost. He told his cousin that he's probably their last priority. And he said Ghost will save Angela before him. So Proctor is now he's in business for himself. But you could tell he's a little conflicted because he really likes him, he said. And, this ain't really like him, but he's thinking about his kid, his daughter. And so he still got it in for Angela. And he knows that he's expendable to Ghost and Tommy. So now he's protecting himself. And he said that he could probably get immunity if he gives them up. So are we going to see Proctor, slowly transforming into the villain? We'll have to keep an eye on that. And he still want Angela Valdez. So interesting. What else we got here? Alright, so now Kanan and Tariq are meeting up. And they get stopped by the police. So this is they really gave a little insight into why black people just go through with the police just getting pulled over. And you can tell that this is a normal thing, particularly in growing up in the hood. Kanan is so used to it that he's schooling Tariq on it. He's telling Tariq, just this ain't the same thing as the security guard. These people could, you could get shot in an instant. So you need to play your cards right. This is not a game. And he tells, when the police asks if Tariq has ID, he tells Tariq to pull it out very slowly and hand it over. Even Kanan's like, good evening, officer. Like, he's real proper with it. So he's really, schooling Tariq on just that whole thing. You got to be real careful. Them games don't work there. So anyway, the police ask Kanan if it's okay to look in the trunk. He could have said no though, because why was the reason they would need to look in the trunk? But no, he knew that the trunk was empty, so he had nothing to worry about. Boom, so they go and open the trunk, and they find Tasha's gun in there, the same gun that killed RayRay. Boom, so they found the gun in the car. Meanwhile, Tasha already called and said that Tariq was missing. He was kidnapped by Kanan. So they get the gun. They tell Kanan and Tariq to get out the car. We find out that Tasha and Tariq planted the gun in Kanan's trunk, man. Damn. So Tariq was convinced to turn Kanan in. So, boom. They do that. Kanan is trying to explain to them that him and Tariq, they're chilling together. Tariq is with him voluntarily. The police they tell Kanan that a missing report was filed, so he probably kidnapped Tariq. So Kanan says, tell him, Reek, tell him, that I ain't kidnapping. And Tariq was like, he told them the opposite. He told them that he thought he could trust Kanan, but he couldn't. So Tariq basically flips on him. So he betrays him. He becomes disloyal to Kanan. So boom, they put Tariq in the back of the police squad car. They're about to take him home, or they're going to take him to the police station first, to make sure everything is okay. Boom, and now they're arresting Kanan. Kanan has been saying from the beginning that he never going back to jail. So he pulls out, I guess he grabs the police's gun, shoots him in the neck. He's in a shootout with like 6 police officers. He kills all the motherfuckers. But he took a couple himself to like his abdomen, I think his arm, into his leg or something. And there's a last police officer that he shoots, and he shoots the police officer right in front of the window where Tariq is sitting in the back seat. Boom, shoots him. And he looks at Reek, and Reek is just horrified. We haven't seen Tariq this scared in so long. So this took him back. We saw a scared little innocent kid in that moment when Kanan shot that police officer at point blank range. He was just horrified, and that's because he knew for sure that Kanan was going to turn that gun and kill him, because they just had the conversation earlier of Kanan saying Sean was disloyal, so that's why he killed him. And Tariq was disloyal to Kanan at that point. So Tariq was gonna die. There was no way that he wasn't gonna die, at least in his mind. But Kanan just looks at him and then walks away. He gets into the police car and then tries to drive off, but he's been hit so many times that he loses control, and then he just veers and hits a pole, I think. And then his head hits that steering wheel, that horn is blowing, and he just dies in that moment. And then Tariq is just sitting there. So now in that moment, we see that what Kanan told him earlier in the car was actually true. Like he said he wouldn't do that to Tariq, and he didn't do that, because in that moment he could have killed him for being disloyal. But he kept his word. So maybe I guess in his own crazy little way, he really did love Tariq like a son. But that's some more crazy type of love. But Kanan was sincere with Tariq. So and he got betrayed and he died. So I think this was, people gonna be sad that Kanan died. They're gonna be sad because the way he died at that moment, how he didn't kill Tariq, and we know Kanan to be just the grimiest, non-trustworthy dude on the planet, and he spared Tariq's life. He really did care about the kid. So, I don't think nobody expected Kanan to die this soon, though. I don't think anybody expected that. Maybe sometime this season, a few people thought, but this episode, it was just so unexpected. It was crazy. So now, Kanan is dead, and, there's a scene where Ghost and Tommy are at the morgue, and Tommy shows up after Ghost, and Tommy tells Ghost that, Kanan said that Ghost would be after him. Kanan predicted it, and he died. So Tommy thinks that Ghost is the one who set Kanan up, to be framed and to die. But he didn't. Ghost is telling him that it was Tasha and Tariq who set it up, and Tommy is not really believing it. So at this point, Tommy is just, they're still brothers, but he's losing faith in Ghost. You can tell he don't trust Ghost, because the running theme of this season is Ghost is out for Ghost. Ghost will save Ghost. He doesn't care about anybody but himself. And Tommy believes that now. It's crazy that it took Kanan's death to drive Kanan's point. Kanan was trying to drive a wedge between Ghost and Tommy, and it took his death to really, prove his point in a way, even though it didn't happen like that, but him dying helped his point. So that's ironic. But even then, at that point, I think a lot of people probably would have even thought that Kanan is not really dead and that wasn't him under the sheet. So it was a real nice touch of them to lift the sheet up and show that it was Kanan. You could tell he looked like a dead person. His skin was like pale, and skin was turning pale. So we get confirmation that Kanan is dead. At least, he got to be dead unless he's on some Michael Myers type shit. But Kanan is dead. So it was a nice touch that we got confirmation, because if they didn't pull that sheet back, everybody would have been having their theories that he's still alive. So they really drove that home. And when they pulled the sheet back, you could tell on, especially Ghost, his expression was just, it hurt him. He was sad, because that was his mentor. That was his OG. So I think Ghost, no matter what, he always had a soft spot for Kanan. That's his OG. And even Tommy. So they were both grieving in that moment. It's interesting to see them grieving for Kanan, but that's the nature of the game, nature of the business. They had their issues. They were kind of enemies, but they're connected for life through their experiences. And Ghost even said it, that Kanan helped him save Tariq, and he never forgot it. So they grieved on that. But I think Kanan's death is gonna really it should affect Tariq a lot, because he saw that Kanan killed his own son. He killed Sean for being disloyal and choosing Ghost over him. And now Kanan let Tariq live after choosing his mom, Tasha and his dad over Kanan. That's what he essentially did. So he essentially repeated what Kanan said Sean did, and Kanan let him live. So that gotta affect Tariq, because Tariq was, petrified in that moment. So it'll be interesting to see where Tariq goes from here. But in the end, Kanan took the rap for Raymond Jones's murder. So Tariq is in the clear. Ghost is in the clear. Tasha's in the clear. And Angela is in the clear. Angela, she got her moment to puff her chest at Blanca, who was back. You saw Tasha and Ghost were walking out, after they finished giving their, statements to the police, and Tasha gave Angela that wink. They were working together to to clear their names, and I guess Tasha and Angela are the super team, because they did it. They cleared the name. They worked together. They framed Kanan. They cleared their names. Now they gave each other that little wink, and you saw how Tariq put on that lie, and when he was giving his statement, he even cried and said that he told Kanan that Raymond Jones was after him, and then so because of that, his uncle Kanan probably went and killed Raymond Jones, and then Tariq started crying. He put a so even at that moment, after Reek went through all that, he was petrified. He thought Kanan was going to kill him. He saw Kanan die, who's been his new OG, probably his closest friend for a while now. He still had enough poise to go in that police station and then just lie like it was nothing. So even now, Tariq, that boy, Kanan was right. That boy a gangster. He got it in him, because he could still put on that straight face and just lie and, fake tear it up to make that shit work. And even Keisha played her position. She said Kanan was in the penthouse, so he had time to steal Tasha's gun. So everybody did their part, and they're pretty much in the clear now. And you see Angela walking with a box. And some people probably thought, maybe she quit or something. Maybe she was going to D.C., but that was the box of Raymond Jones's case, everything that has to do with it. She grabbed that box and she handed it right to Blanca. She said, yeah, you're right. This is way under my pay grade. Hold that. So she got her moment. Blanca been on her ass all season, but she got her moment to really, let Blanca have it. So, but then we see that Proctor is not playing. Proctor is willing to give people up now. So this is a big change. So anyway, this episode was really like a season finale. We saw Kanan die. Dang. So, whew. You would have thought that they were on hiatus for a month or something, the way they just banged out this episode. We still got 2 episodes left, so the end of this season is gonna be crazy. But let me make sure I ain't miss anything. I don't think I did, but I'm sure y'all let me know if I did. Anyway, let me know what you thought about this episode of Power, which I thought was crazy. Episode 8 in the comments. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel. Once again, Altenor Media. Make sure to like the video, share the video, etc., etc. Once again, I'm Emmanuel. I'll be back next week for episode 9 and then episode 10. Anyway, that's all we got for today. Peace.